Rocky Mountain Sasquatch. I would like to go over recent Bigfoot activity our team has been tracking in the historically #1 Bigfoot sighting hotspot in the world, the state of Washington. Our team investigated several Bigfoot sighting reports along the Lewis River, around Mount Adams, Mount St. Helens, and a few reports in the Olympic Forest. Here are a couple of photos that were posted to RMSO media sites this year. This photo was reportedly taken in the Olympic Forest of Washington. In my opinion, the foliage appears to be correct for this part of the Pacific Northwest. The person who posted the photo publicly ignored all questions regarding this picture other than stating it was captured in the Olympic Forest. This next photo posted to an RMSO media site by a gentleman named Ron. He states, "A friend sent this to me from the Hoh River in the peninsula of Washington. I've had several encounters myself, including a sighting crossing the road in Ashford, Washington." RMSO asks, "Hi Ron, do you know when this photo was taken? What is your friend's story behind obtaining this photo?" Ron continues, "It was taken over a year ago. He was fishing and it was on the other side of the river. I myself have seen it, have also heard it talking and howling. Had a tree knock in October of this year, right after shooting my 10-22. I knocked back, then felt it was best to leave. The talking sounds were like gibberish. As soon as I made noise, it stopped. I just rolled a doe in a can." And a doe in a can is this canister that you turn and it makes a sound like a deer. Hunters use it to call in whatever they have a tag for. These next set of photos were posted by Ted, and he writes, "Ashford, Washington. I wear a size 11. These were about 6 inches deep. There were a few. They went over the side of a hill, and I myself am a member of the Advanced Mountaineering Search and Rescue Team for 31 years, and it was a hill I would not go over without ropes. There were 3 for positive, and I was so surprised of the find that taking pictures of them all totally slipped my mind. And by the smell, I had a very heightened adrenaline, if that makes any sense. I'm headed out to camp in the same place tomorrow and going back. I marked the prints very well." RMSO responds, "Were you able to measure the track or get a length and width size estimate compared to your boot?" Ted responds, "I didn't, but I can definitely give you the length of the boot, if that would help." RMSO states, "Huge. It reminds me of the 2 tracks we found a few years ago in the Blue Mountains at the famous Paul Freeman Bigfoot on video location. We found 2 of them that were very deep, similar in shape. However, yours is probably over an inch longer. We were unable to sink into the substrate, but the 2 front prints were a couple of inches sunk in. Maybe it walked there during or after a rainstorm. Cool find. Obviously made before it snowed." Ted continues, "These prints were definitely before the snowfall. We're going up there camping tomorrow and I'll see what I can find and let you know more. There were 3 prints and a third was going over the side and was about 200 feet down. Was just so amazed that I didn't even think to take more pictures of the other 3 tracks. So yeah, these were very deep and definitely a big one for sure. If you'd like, I will let you know what I find this weekend when we go back to the same spot. I marked it." RMSO asks, "Ashford, Washington? Were you on the west side of town or on the east side closer to Mount Rainier?" Ted responds, "On the southwest side, I'd say. So it's up at a place called High Rock, which is off the road named Skate Creek that goes from Ashford to Packwood, Washington. By his tracks, it definitely looked as if he was traveling alone, and in all honesty, I'm not sure he was very far from us, because the smell was something horrible, way worse than any rotten animal." RMSO asks, "Maybe he was bedded down nearby. Was it actively snowing when you found the tracks?" Ted replies, "Yes, just started snowing, maybe 3 inches or snow." Tim Bowman Jr. writes RMSO, "Some tracks I came across on a high mountain frozen lake. Came down one side of the mountain, crossed the lake, went up the other side of the mountain. If you look close, there are a ball, an arch, and toes." RMSO responds, "Hi Tim, what state did you find this trackway in?" Tim responds, "Washington State." RMSO responds, "What part of the state, or as close to the area you are comfortable divulging? We spend a lot of time in that state searching for the creature and evidence. I am impressed with the dimensions and the toes of the tracks you found." Tim writes back, "It was up at Palmer Lake, just out of Nighthawk by Oroville, Washington, 10 miles from the Canadian border. I'm a hunter, and I've never seen anything like it. It had 4-foot strides coming down the hill and kept it 2 feet apart on the ice and back to 4 feet again going up the hill on the other side. RMSO writes back, crazy. Sounds like the creature knows it needs to be careful on the ice. Long strides traveling till it gets to the ice, and then it seems to shuffle along, if you will. Went from 4-foot strides to 2-foot strides. That's interesting. Did you notice or hear anything else unusual? Tim responds, no, I was ice fishing. The track looked about 3 days old. Just thought I would share these odd tracks. I can't honestly say what it could be, but I know it's not a bear. My dad actually had an encounter when he was 17. He and his friends were camping by a creek. They dam it up to catch crawdads. That night, they were all around the fire, and something very tall and hairy ran by them on 2 legs. My dad and friends ran into their tent and stayed there till morning. When they woke up, they were still trying to figure out what it could have been. They all went down to the creek to see if there was any crawdads and noticed a very large footprint on top of the muddy rock dam they built. He told me this. I didn't believe him. Now fast forward 30 years to now, and I come across these tracks. Now I'm rethinking his story. RMSO responds, was your dad and friends encounter in Washington State also? Tim, yes, about 80 miles away above Brewster, Washington on Paradise Hill. Hi, Tim. We really appreciate you sending us photos and informing us of what you saw. Really enjoyed your dad's Bigfoot sighting 80 miles from there. That area of Washington, the entire state of Washington, is #1 for Bigfoot sightings in the United States and the world. Amazing place for Bigfoot. I hope everybody enjoyed these footprints and a Bigfoot sighting report that really isn't that far away from where he found these tracks. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.
But look at this, though. Look at these.
Oh my gosh, I didn't understand what you guys meant.
Yeah, we're seeing giant footprints where they've laid down, sat down.
No,
but
right,
yeah,
right here, Jen, look.
The thumb extends off this way. This is the bottom of the hand. And deep in there is where its thumb goes. And then you can almost make out all the fingers that it drove in. It's like it pushed itself up from where it was sitting right here. And you can see the big
I'm gonna go check out over here.
impression. I'll point it out to you guys.
That's so crazy.
They've got another camera going, checking out the footprint.
Bigfoot on camera, watching campers feed deer near Marysville, Utah. Richard writes RMSO. This was sent to me by my sister camping in Marysville, Utah 2 Fridays ago, showing me the X made by contrails. They had stopped at this spot and were feeding deer out of the palm of their hands. I started to blow it up because just below middle, in the center, enlarge and tell me what you see. RMSO asks, saw the black figure in the photo. Did they see, hear, or anything unusual happen while they were camping? Richard continues, they were paying more attention to feeding the deer out of their hand. I think something was stalking them because the deer seemed pretty tame and easy prey. RMSO asks, been to that area a few times. Were they in an allotted campground or just camping in a random place? Do you happen to know the name of the creek or river this thing was standing near in the cover of the woods? Richard responds, they stayed at South 40 campsite, then took Beaver Creek Road to Bullion Pasture Trailhead. It was between those 2 spots, and I think it was Beaver Creek. Cameraman runs away from Sasquatch when he realizes it's not a bear. A hiker captured what appears to be a Bigfoot on camera, stating that he thought it was a black bear and snapped this photo. When they got closer, they realized it was Bigfoot and ran away quickly. Location and witness remain anonymous. The photo appeared on Bigfoot Evidence in January of 2018, and the video that they referenced in the article is now unavailable. If you took this photo, please reach out to us at rmsobigfoot@gmail.com so that we can get the location from you and give you credit for the photo if needed. A giant creature walks past game camera, sparking controversy all over the internet. This photo first appeared on Exploring the Unexplained Facebook page, January of 2017, and the location was tagged from Nordegg, Alberta, Canada. Then it appeared on Bucks, Bulls, and Bears Facebook page on September of 2017. They stated this trail camera photo is going bonkers on the internet. The timestamp of the wild game camera is from September of 2012. They state, "We do know this. It's definitely not a costume. This is the only photo that we know of. This animal apparently did not appear in any other pictures. A basic understanding of Photoshop makes it easy to tell this is not Photoshopped. It's a real photo. Where is the bear's tail? And how do you account for the white on the fingernails? Bears have black claws. Many think it's a bear on hind legs. Others believe this game camera capture is of a Bigfoot walking by. Unfortunately, it only captured the lower half of the creature or animal. Very interesting image captured by a trail camera for sure."